Hi, I'm pharmacist Benjamin Knight Fuchs, registered pharmacist, cosmetic, chemist, and nutritionist. This is the show where we talk about our favorite organ, the body's largest organ, because your skin matters. All right, so today I want to talk about Chapter 2 in our Handbook of Good Nutrition. Our Handbook of Good Nutrition is made up of 8 chapters: protein, fats, carbs, fiber, water, vitamins, minerals, and trace nutrients. We talked about protein on our last Skin Matters episode. Today I want to talk about Chapter 2, fats, dietary fats. There's 5 main dietary fats. There's the fatty acids, which are the components in foods that most people think of when they think of fats. We're going to talk about phospholipids, which is a very specialized form of fat that has water-soluble properties and fat-soluble properties. That's kind of unusual. The same molecule is both watery and fatty, and that makes phospholipids very important, particularly for the skin barrier. We'll talk a little bit about fatty vitamins. We'll talk about phytonutrients, which tend to be fatty. And then we'll talk about a really interesting fat that we don't think of often as a fat, and that is cholesterol. Okay, so the first type of fat is fatty acids. These are the kind of fats that most of us think of when we think of dietary fats. There's 2 types of fatty acids. We have solid fatty acids. Those are the kinds that you'll find in margarine, lard, butter, or shortening. The technical name for a solid fatty acid is saturated, where we say it's a saturated fatty acid. And then the second kind of fat is, obviously, unsaturated fatty acids, and those are liquidy. Vegetable oils, grain oils, seed oils are unsaturated fatty acids. So you got saturated fatty acids, solid, and unsaturated fatty acids, liquid. There are 2 specific unsaturated fatty acids that stand out in importance, not only in the world of fats, but stand out in importance in the world of nutrition. And these 2 unsaturated fats are so special that you absolutely have to have them in your diet. Your body cannot make them. Your body can make a lot of things, and it can make a lot of fats, but there are 2 fats that are almost like vitamins. They're so darn important, and they're said to be essential because you have to have them in the diet. Essential means if you don't have it, if you don't get it, you're going to die. Just like air is essential. Without air, you're going to die. And without these 2 fatty acids, these 2 unsaturated fatty acids, liquid fatty acids that are said to be essential, likewise, you'll die. These essential fatty acids come in 2 varieties, omega-6 and omega-3. And they're both important for the body, and they're both important for the skin. Omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids together are required for the healing process. And the skin is obviously on the outside of the body, so it requires a lot of healing. And this is what makes omega-6s and omega-3s super important for the skin. They're also important for the hormone system. They're also important for the brain. They're important for growth. They're important for the liver and the bones. They're important for a lot of things, but they're especially important for the skin. Omega-6s initiate the inflammatory process, meaning they initiate healing. They are moisturizing. They are also important for making skin cell membranes. Omega-3 fatty acids are anti-inflammatory, and they're protective for the skin. They especially protect the skin from the sun, and they can protect the skin from electromagnetic radiation. They're so electromagnetically protected, they're also important for brain and nerve health. In fact, one of the claims to fame of omega-3 essential fatty acid derivatives is that moms who eat omega-3 essential fatty acid derivatives have smarter babies and babies with better hand-eye coordination. So omega-3s are very, very important for electrical energy. They're anti-inflammatory. Omega-3s are very important for moisturizing the skin, for the healing process. They initiate the healing process with inflammation. The signs of essential fatty acid are the major sign on the skin of essential fatty acid is the major skin problem that people have. What's the number one skin problem that people have? It's not eczema. It's not psoriasis. It's not acne. It's not aging skin. The number one skin issue that people have and that people don't even realize is a health issue is dry skin. And dry skin, scaly skin, rashy skin, itchy skin, sensitive skin are all classic signs of essential fatty acid deficiency. Barrier defects, particularly the kind that occur in eczema, is also a sign of essential fatty acid deficiencies. One thing about essential fatty acids that that really is one of the major reasons why we don't get enough, is they're very, very fragile. So even if you're eating foods that contain essential fatty acids, like for example, eggs, which are one of nature's best skin foods, and partially at least because they contain essential fatty acids, if you're heating your eggs, you're going to lose those essential fatty acids. Fish is also a good source of essential fatty acids, but if you heat your fish, you're going to lose those essential fatty acids. This is why supplementation with essential fatty acids is so important. I like a product called Udo's Blend, which is a liquid essential fatty acid, but they're very easy to find. If you're going to supplement with essential fatty acids, you want to supplement with a balance of essential fatty acids, omega-6s and omega-3s. The exact proportion of omega-6 to omega-3, people don't really know what that is, but you want to have maybe a 2-to-1 ratio of omega-6 to omega-3. There's a lot more omega-6s in the body than there are omega-3s, and it's tough to know exactly what the kind of ratio you want is, but 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 omega-6 fatty acid to omega-3 fatty acid is probably a good place to be. If you want to get your essential fatty acids from foods, dairy, eggs, meat, nuts, avocados, but to the degree you cook your food is going to be the degree that you lose those essential fatty acids. So if you're cooking your eggs or you're cooking your meat or your nuts are roasted, you may not be getting the essential fatty acid value out of those kinds of foods. So it's always a good idea to supplement. Essential fatty acids and dietary fatty acids tend to be what we say in chemistry, long chain. But there are other fatty acids that aren't long chain. In fact, there's a fatty acid called a medium chain fatty acid. Some people say medium chain triglycerides. And these medium chain fatty acids are found especially in coconut. And medium chain triglycerides or medium chain fatty acids are very important for energy. They're especially important for energy if you have a liver problem or you have a gallbladder problem. And athletes will use medium chain triglyceride supplements because you get quick energy from them. And then there's short chain fatty acids. You got the long chain fatty acids. Those are the main ones in foods. And the two essential fatty acids are long chain fatty acids. And then you have the medium chain fatty acids. Those are typically found in coconut. And those are used by the body for energy. And then you have short chain fatty acids. Short chain fatty acids are very important for intestinal health and for brain health. You'll find short chain fatty acids in butter as well as in vinegar. And one of the best ways to make sure you're getting enough short chain fatty acids is to eat fiber. We'll talk about fiber on a coming Skin Matters episode. Fiber from vegetables is not digested. This is what makes fiber special, is we can't really digest fiber, but our bacteria, the microbiome bacteria, they can digest fiber. And when they digest the fiber, when they eat the fiber, guess what? They release short-chain fatty acids, and these short-chain fatty acids can then go travel through the bloodstream and provide brain health and health for the nervous system. Short-chain fatty acids can also support immune health, and they're very important for the health of the intestine. So your two main essential fatty acids, omega-3 and omega-6. Omega-3 is technically, by the way, called alpha linolenic acid. It's found in seafood, algae, eggs, chia seeds, hemp seeds. It's skin protective. It's anti-inflammatory. And then omega-6 fatty acids, that's called omega-6 fatty acids, essential fatty acids are called linoleic acid. And deficiencies in omega-6 fatty acids account for a lot of skin problems. Corn oil, sunflower oil, wheat germ oil, avocado oil, almond oil, safflower oil. These are all theoretically good sources of omega-6 fatty acids. But if your corn oil or your sunflower oil or your wheat germ oil is processed and heated, you may not be getting the omega-6 fatty acids. And omega-6 fatty acids, as I said, are especially important for moisturization of the skin because they get turned into skin moisture factors, skin moisture lipids, skin moisture fats. They also initiate the healing process, and they're important for cell membrane health. There's one omega-6 essential fatty acid that stands out in importance. It's not an essential fatty acid, it's a derivative of an essential fatty acid. And that's called GLA. You can buy GLA as a supplement, critical for skin health issues like eczema and psoriasis. And also it's very helpful for menstrual issues. Female menstrual issues, by the way, are very often linked to deficiencies in essential fatty acids, both omega-3 and omega-6. Interestingly, I bet you didn't know that CBD and THC, the active ingredients in marijuana, are derivatives of omega fatty acids, essential fatty acids, specifically omega-6 fatty acids. And essential fatty acids act like statin drugs. For people who are on statin drugs, you can actually lower your cholesterol by using essential fatty acids, and essential fatty acids act like estrogen. So if you're on a female hormone replacement therapy that features estrogen, you may be able to lower your estrogen dose by taking essential fatty acids, or maybe you don't even want to take prescription estrogen. Just using essential fatty acids can give you some estrogen-like effects, some nutritional estrogen-like effects, not toxic drug-like estrogen effects, but nutritional estrogen effects. All right, so our second type of fat are the phospholipids. The phospholipids are both watery and fatty. The phospho part is phosphorus, and that's watery. The lipid part is lipid. It's fatty. So you have like a water and fat molecule together, and that makes phospholipids excellent emulsifiers. They can pull oil and water together. The classic example of a phospholipid that we all know of that acts like an emulsifier is lecithin. And lecithin is a great supplement to take if you have problems processing fats. If you have gallbladder taken out, or you have gallstone issues or liver issues, using lecithin can help you process and digest and absorb your fats. Eggs are a great source of lecithin. Dairy, seeds have lecithin in them. Grains, organ meats contain lecithin, but you can also supplement with just plain old lecithin. Lecithin is used to make skin cells, brain cells, nerve cells. And remember, I'm using the term lecithin to be synonymous with phospholipids because the most important phospholipid in the body is lecithin. Bile, which is the stuff that comes out of your gallbladder that helps you digest fats, is largely made up of lecithin, phospholipid. The skin barrier depends on phospholipids. When your skin barrier is messed up, your skin will be messed up. Skin barrier issues, weak skin barrier. Having a weak skin barrier is associated with dry skin. It's associated with hyperpigmentation. It's associated with sensitive skin. It's associated with eczema. And phospholipids are a great supplement for helping strengthen the barrier. That means if you have dry skin, you may benefit by supplementing with lecithin by virtue of lecithin's ability to build a strong skin barrier. Then there are the fatty vitamins. We're going to talk about the fatty vitamins in a coming Skin Matters episode. But for now, just remember the acronym DEAK, D, E, A, and K. Those are the fatty vitamins. They're a little bit tricky in the sense that there's not just one form of vitamin D and E and A and K. There are multiple forms. The fatty vitamins come in different forms, so they're a little tricky to understand. Vitamin D comes from the sun. The sun hits cholesterol in the skin and turns it into vitamin D, and vitamin D is actually a form of cholesterol. We're going to talk about cholesterol here in a second. Vitamin A and vitamin D are actually not even vitamins. They're hormones that we call vitamins. Vitamin D is important for the growth of cells. The maturation process, which is called differentiation, depends on vitamin D. The immune system in the skin depends on vitamin D. And guess what? Vitamin D is actually sun protective. So when you go out in the sun and you make vitamin D, that vitamin D can help protect the skin from the sun. So you may actually make your own sun protective molecules by being out in the sun. Now that won't happen, by the way, if you use sunscreen. Vitamin A works with vitamin D. It's also very important for the maturation and the growth and development of skin cells. Deficiencies in vitamin A will show up as acne. They'll show up as chicken skin. Chicken skin is technically called keratosis piloris. Deficiencies in vitamin A can show up as pre-skin cancer or even skin cancer. Eczema and psoriasis can also be the result of vitamin A deficiencies. Vitamin A is usually not found in high concentrations, high enough concentrations in supplements. When I make a supplement, a skin supplement, I make sure I put 20,000 international units of vitamin A in there. Vitamin A typically has the recommended daily allowance is around 1,000 to 5,000 milligrams of vitamin A, somewhere in there. And most supplements aren't going to get you enough vitamin A. Vitamin E, super important for sun protection. Super important for protection in general. Vitamin E also has tremendous healing properties. If you cut yourself or you get some kind of burn or some sort of skin wound, taking high doses of vitamin E can actually be very healing for the skin and can accelerate the healing process from healing from wounds or other skin traumas. Vitamin K is important for healing. It's also important for the growth of skin cells, and it's important for calcium metabolism. Taking enough vitamin K can help keep calcium from turning into stones and creating gallstones and kidney stones. Vitamin K is kind of like a calcium magnet that keeps calcium in bones and keeps it from becoming loose and floating around in the blood and causing problems. And then there are the phytonutrients. Phytonutrients are fatty molecules that are found in plants. They're nutrients in the sense that they have a protective effect, but they don't necessarily have a cellular effect. They don't necessarily go inside of cells. Some do, but for the most part, phytonutrients act as what we call adaptogens. They protect cells. Carotenoids like beta carotene, which can get turned into vitamin A. Flavonoids, most people have heard of bioflavonoids, which help us process vitamin C. Phytosterols, which have a steroid-like effect, a protective effect for skin cells. Chlorophyll is also protective. These are all examples of phytonutrients. They're very hard for the body to digest and break down and release from foods. So here's a trick for making sure that you get enough phytonutrients from your plants or enough phytonutrient value from your veggies. Braise them and steam them and then put butter on top of them. The braising and the steaming in combination with the butter will release the chlorophyll and the flavonoids and the sterols and the carotenoids so that it makes it easier for the body to absorb them through the intestine. So these phytonutrients generally act as adaptogens, which is a fancy way of saying cell protectants. They have sun protection properties, particularly the colored pigments, and they can be very helpful for post-procedure wound healing. They protect against cigarette smoke. They can help protect your eyes from the sun for folks who are worried about getting macular degeneration or whose eyes are getting weak. These adaptogenic molecules, particularly the pigments, like lutein you may have heard of and zeaxanthin. You'll see these on eye vitamins. They can be protective for the eyes. They also support detoxification. They're anti-inflammatory. And some of them, particularly the sterols, can have benefits for our sex hormones, for our reproductive hormones. Last but not least, adaptogens that are deposited in the skin can also be helpful for folks who are dealing with sensitive skin issues. And then there's the last fat, which most people don't even think of as a fat, but indeed it is, and that is cholesterol. And despite cholesterol's cultural demonization, most people are like, you got to lower your cholesterol. You have too much cholesterol in your blood. It turns out cholesterol is incredibly important. Arguably the single most important molecule in the body. Cholesterol gets turned into all of our steroid hormones, all of our sex hormones. It gets turned into vitamin D. And in the skin, cholesterol is especially important for building and repair. Cholesterol also has sun protection properties in the skin. And as we talked about earlier, cholesterol gets turned into vitamin D by the action of the sun. Cholesterol can also help reduce the evaporation of water through the surface of the skin. And this is eating cholesterol. Your body can make cholesterol, but you can also eat cholesterol. And you can also put cholesterol on your skin. I formulate skincare products with cholesterol. All of this is to take advantage of cholesterol's ability to help repair the skin barrier and help hydrate the skin by reducing the loss of water. Technically, that's called TEWL, or transepidermal water loss. Using cholesterol topically, as well as making sure that you're ingesting enough cholesterol, and I'll talk about that here in a sec, that can help keep your skin hydrated by reducing TEWL, or water loss. Now, as far as eating cholesterol goes, cholesterol comes into the body through two mechanisms or two routes. It's made in the liver. It's made in a lot of cells, but largely it's made in the liver, and it's also taken in food. If you are taking cholesterol in food, your liver will downregulate cholesterol synthesis. If you're not taking in cholesterol in food, your liver will upregulate cholesterol synthesis. Why is that? Why is cholesterol so darn important that if you're not getting enough, your body will make it, or if you're getting too much, your body will stop making it? It's because cholesterol regulates growth. Cholesterol is important for the growth of cells. The reason people's cholesterol becomes elevated is because we're tricking the body into growing. We have created a dietary strategy in our 21st century lifestyle that tricks the body into thinking it's supposed to be growing. You know what that dietary strategy is? It's called sugar. And eating lots of sugar and raising your insulin is the reason why people's cholesterol goes up, because it tricks the body into thinking it's supposed to be growing. So what I'm trying to say here is cholesterol is important stuff because it's important for growth. You can get cholesterol from foods, or you can have your liver will produce enough cholesterol. The best foods that contain cholesterol are eggs. Once again, we've said eggs 3 or 4 times already because they're such an amazing food, particularly because of the fats. Dairy has some cholesterol, organ meats, and seafood also has cholesterol. If you have elevated blood cholesterol, reduce your sugar. Also reduce your stress. I forgot to mention, stress hormone is also derived from cholesterol. That is cortisol. So the more stress you're under, psychological stress or physical stress, the more cholesterol your body will be making. So sugar and stress hormones are the two major reasons why blood cholesterol is elevated. Reduce your sugar intake and relax the body, or reduce physiologic stressors, and your cholesterol will drop like a stone without statin drugs. And by the way, essential fatty acids can be used to act like a statin drug to help lower your cholesterol as well. So here's a little tricks for you in terms of using fats correctly. Always use digestive enzymes with your fats, particularly something called lipase, also bile salts or bile acids you'll see sometimes on the nutrition facts label. Those can both help you absorb and utilize fats, especially if you have your gallbladder taken out. If your gallbladder is taken out, it's a must to use lipase, Lipase, which is the digestive enzyme that processes fats, as well as bile or lecithin granules that can also help you absorb your fats. Everybody will benefit from those kinds of supplements, but especially if you've had your gallbladder removed or if your intestinal health is compromised, because fats are also processed somewhat in the intestine. And then also the liver. So if you have liver problems, intestinal problems, gallbladder issues, those are reasons why you definitely want to get yourself on a digestive enzyme supplement and take phospholipids and bile. But we can all benefit from those kinds of supplements. Use butter, as I said earlier, to help improve the release and absorption of phytonutrients and adaptogens. Probiotics, good bacteria in the intestine, play a major role in how fats are utilized. So make sure that your microbiome is healthy by using probiotics, as well as prebiotics, which are fiber, both soluble and insoluble fiber, to help support the health of the probiotics or the health of the good bacteria. Take EFA supplements. You're not going to get essential fatty acids or enough essential fatty acids from foods because of food processing and because we cook our foods. And always take your essential fatty acids with meals, with fatty meals especially, and also with vitamin E, because vitamin E protects essential fatty acids from oxidation. Let's see what else. The ketogenic diet is a great way to eat. The ketogenic diet is a low-calorie, high-fat diet where a high percentage of your calories are coming from fat. The low calorie is the most important part of the ketogenic diet. That's the part that most people don't pay attention to. The ketogenic diet doesn't work if you're eating a lot of fat. The idea is to have a high percentage of your calories coming from fat. So if you're at 1,200 calories a day, maybe 800 calories or 700 calories should come from fat, and then maybe 300 or so coming from protein and the rest coming from carbohydrates. That 700, 300, and 200, something like that. The most important is low calorie and a high percentage of your calories coming from fats. It's an ideal diet for folks who are trying to lose weight, for people who have heart disease, people who have diabetes, to slow down the aging process. And the ketogenic diet has also been shown to be effective for treating cancer. So we'll talk about our fatty vitamins here when on another Skin Matters episode. But for now, I just want you to know the 5 major kinds of fats are the fatty acids, 2 of which are essential must-haves in the diet. The medium chain triglycerides or medium fats, medium fatty acids are used for energy. The short chain fatty acids are important for the intestine and for the brain and for the nervous system. And then you have your fatty vitamins, D, E, A, and K, your phytonutrients, which act as adaptogens and are protective. And then cholesterol, I think I'm missing one here. The phospholipids. Those are the emulsifiers. They're found in eggs, especially, also dairy and organ meats and seeds and grains. You can supplement with phospholipids to help build a stronger skin barrier, or if you have a gallbladder problem or a liver problem or an intestinal problem. And then cholesterol, very underappreciated. It's a building and repair molecule, especially important for skin health, for skin barrier, and for skin healing and for skin hydration. Your body can make cholesterol, but if you eat cholesterol from eggs, dairy, organ meats, and seafood, you'll make absolutely sure that you're getting enough cholesterol. Don't pay any attention to that craziness about avoiding cholesterol and cholesterol being a bad guy. Cholesterol is arguably the most important and definitely the most multifunctional molecule in the body. And that's our chapter on fats. We'll come back at you with chapter 3, carbohydrates, on another Skin Matters episode. I am pharmacist Benjamin Knight Fuchs. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. And remember, your skin matters.